Because that is the derailment of Satan to a generation of men. Telling them that just because God made you the head, you are the head of all. You are not the head of all creation. You are the head of the family designated to you by God. And you will be judged for how you stewarded your vineyard, not how you stewarded the fields of other people. Abraham, that you would teach your seed and your children and your generations the precepts of the Lord. One of the foundational expectations of God to a man is that he must be a teacher. But what does Satan do to men? Please, I don't have the patience for this. You do the Bible study, I will bring the money. But what was God's requirement of Abraham? Teach. Teach. Because you need to understand what teaching is. It is by teaching that doctrine is formed. And the Bible declares that do not be tossed to and fro by every wind of doctrine. So that means doctrine is a wind. And wind produces movement and momentum. That means the kingdom of God can be limited by the lack of wind. And the lack of wind is a lack of teaching. And the lack of teaching is a lack of teachers. And the lack of teachers is the lack of fathers. So while you are saying that what is happening to the church, your first question should be what is happening to fathers. Because according to scriptures, the sons were not designated to be taught by the church. They were designated to be taught by the fathers. Are you with me? It is out of respect for you that I teach you the truth of the gospel. Because I can stand here and lie. Women, I'm coming for us too. I can stand here and preach a gospel that is soothing. But at the end of the day, we will all die. We will all die. Everything will end. God will redefine everything. Many of these churches will not exist again. Our ministries will not exist again. When he that is perfect comes to rule, he will have one bride that is named after him, not after denominations. So when you have this in mind, it must become your resolution to pursue truth above all things. Above all things. So you look at the way that God structured humanity and the way that God defines himself. He calls himself the God of Abraham, the God of Jacob, and the dread of Isaac. Because to each generation he reveals himself uniquely. And he does not define himself only as the eternal being that rules the heavens, but he defines himself as the eternal being that manifests himself in time through the generations of men. So this begins to tell you that generations are important in the display of the glory of God.